Good afternoon. Today I am going to start you an interesting story. You might have tell me that sir, this is a story of a fairy tale. What is a fairy tale? Fairy tale means the story which is naturally narrated to the children, and there the characters are imaginary, but at the end a strong moral message is delivered. Fairy tale or the fable tales. Understand? Here we are not doing the same kinds of things, but you may consider it a fairy tale, but it is not exactly a fairy tale. The name of the story is the Rattrap, and the author is a Swedish author. What is Swedish? Because Salma Lagerlöf, Lagerlof, Salma Lagerlöf. The author belonged to the Sweden. Sweden, you know, Sweden is the smallest country, one of the smallest country of Europe. But the size of this country is very small. But their tradition, their culture, and heredity is very rich. So this story is deal with a truth of human life. In the story of Salma Lagerlöf, we will try to understand the importance of love and the psychology as well as the friendship is really needed for all. So without further delay, now come to the point. First I will narrate the detailed analysis of the story, then we will read one by one line and tell the meaning, because detailed analysis is very essential to understand. Rattrap. If I ask you what is Rattrap, you may tell, sir, it is a manual machine used to catch the rat, mice or another rodent. It's a machine of wires of iron. It's a machine made up of wires of iron. Or naturally in our the country which is belong to the tropical and subtropical region, their rodents are very popular and they are also coexisting with the human beings. So to catch the rodent like rat, mice, we are using the machine, manual machine called a rat trap. It's a totally a trap like things, and we have to put some cheese, butter or another things to invite the rat, to trap the rat within the machine. So what happened? So it's a very small things, no, but the importance of these things in this story is quite different. Once upon a time, a poor vagabond were living, particularly in Sweden, definitely, because no country's names were mentioned there. So therefore, we may consider that this person was living in the Sweden. He was a vagabond, and also he was leading a monotonous life. Monotonous means lonely, because there was no one to look after him. But his business was not at all profitable. You may easily understand, no, how many people will buy regular rat trap, because rat trap is not a thing which is easily damaged. It's hard things. It is made up of iron, okay, and it's a seasonal things, because in the time of the winter, rats and the other rodent, they are actually they are moving to the hibernations, and we don't need rat trap. Especially in summer region, we need it. Especially in summertime, we need it. Understand? So he was selling the rat trap, but rat trap was not a profitable business to him. So therefore, a glimpse of hunger just emanating to his luminous eyes. That means his eyes was bright, but within his eyes a glimpse of hunger. That means what? He was very hungry. Though his business was not profitable, so who provide him the money? Understand? So that's why a glimpse of hunger was there in his eyes. But he was accustomed to bear the hunger, bear his hungriness. there was no option if you don't have money. So you may do the three things. You can hard work to earn sufficient money for your livelihood. Second one, you can theft others, but that is unethical. And third one, you can beg. The Western world, they are against the begging and they believe that begging is a crime. But in Asiatic country, where begging is quite familiar, like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, okay, their begging is quite popular. But in Western country, their begging was not so popular because they don't like begging. They don't like begging. They thought that production or any activity should be done instead of begging. Understand? So therefore he was not begging, but still he could not have any enough source to get his livelihood. So he was accustomed to his life. It was the time of Christmas when he was selling his Rattrap and moving the pathway. At that time a beautiful thoughts came in his mind that human life is basically a rat trap. Why? Because we are trapped. We are trapped by the glitters of the others. That means what? That means what? Suppose a rat. A rat coming to the cage or rat coming to the rat trap machine because there is food, because he was attracted by the food, the smell of the food, and it tried to get the food, so it entered into the rat trap and therefore it was trapped. Similarly, human beings, we are basically attracted by the glitterness of the others. Suppose money is something, we try to get money, for that we are doing the crime. If we are doing the crime, the police will come to trap us. But why do we commit the crime? Because of the money, because money makes us comfort, so you lead a comfortable life. So we are attracted by the comfort, we are attracted by the luxury. In this way we are trapped. So this monotonous vagabond, he was selling the rat trap, and this line also came in his mind, and he was quite satisfied that okay, so I am the rat trap seller, but I may conclude that this world is nothing but a rat trap. In this way he was moving. The day almost gone. It is the night time came, because in Christmas day the duration of the day is quite short in northern world. So therefore while he was moving and there was no hope to return to his place where he started his journey, though he was vagabond, but he must have certain place. At that moment he saw a hut, but it was closed. Hut means cottage, small house, but the door was closed from inside. He knocked the door. Suddenly a person came out with a smiling gestures and an welcome attitude. The rat trap seller also amazed by the gentleness of the host. He moved into the home, into the cottage, and started talking to the host of the cottage. They spent time, they played the snookers, and they also drank, because drinking was quite popular in Western countries, especially in the winter time. And they also sharing many things while sitting beside the fireplace. At that time, the vagabond rat trap seller came to know that the owner of that house, or the host, once he was belonged to a very prosperous family. He had everything, and he was also working in nearby famous iron mills, Ramzo iron mills. And the time was very prosperous, but right now all the prosperity has gone. But he has 3 cows They produce enough milk, and the owner of this house sold the milk to get his basic livelihood. Though at that moment he was not so rich, but he was not so poor as well. He is maintaining whatever the groceries he needed. He is maintaining in the nicest way. So naturally, it was a night. So they both decided to take their rest. The Rattrap sailor came to the bed which was given to him by the host of the cottage owner. And while he was sleeping there, he predicted that he slept. At that moment, the owner of the house, he kept 3 notes on a pocket just above the Rattrap cellar. Because the village people or the old people, they have the habit, okay, to keep certain notes in somewhere. They thought that it was a secret place, because at that time banks, ATMs were not present. Okay, you may at that moment you may consider that wallet and online facilities are no. At that moment it was not absent, because it was written merely 100 years before. Okay, Salma Ligarlov was basically the period of his office is 1858 to 1940. It was merely written 100 to 120 years before. At that moment, this concept was totally absurd. The Rattrap sailor, who was predicted to sleep, he saw the entire incident and slept because he was very tired. And after many days, he also got huge nourishment that was quite unexpected to him, because he was a vagabond and there was no one to welcome him, especially offer food and shelter in another's home. Understand? So he has taken all these things, and they both were slept. The next day was the Christmas, the day before a day of Christmas day. The weather was very good and a sunny day. And Rattrap seller decided he must leave the house along with the owner, because owner moved through the village to sell his milk after milking from his cows. So he decided it was very bad tendency to be at home while owner was not absent. No, owner was not present. So both left the house in the morning same time and take opposite direction to reach their own destination. But after crossing certain distance, the Rattrap seller thought that it was a gold opportunity to theft the 3 notes that the old man kept on a pocket beside the window. So he returned and did the same. After taking the hat, he was confused which road was taken by him, because if he had taken the roadway, it was a high probability that the house owner came and saw the unfortunate incident and make a police complaint, and police might chase the roadway to catch the Rattrap seller. So it was very good opportunity to take the road from the forest side. So he has done it. He has taken the road which was lead into the forest, and felt comfortable that the first time in his life he got such huge money. Throughout the day he was walking with a joy. What's the joy? The joy to get the money, because he was a vagabond. When he moved huge distance, he ran huge distance throughout the day, but in the evening he was feeling tired. And not only tired, there was nothing to eat, nothing to drink. He was scared. And it was also a forest. And he thought that he has fallen in a rat trap. And where? What was the bet? The bet was the money. That we are offering to a rat a bit. What we are offering to a rat as a bit? We are offering to a rat as a bit is the cheese and the butter. Here, the rat trap seller, he was also trapped by a bit of a three notes. And the trap was the forest because there was no indication to come out. And he also lost hope for his life. And he was thinking that it was the last time came. So he thanked the God and decided nothing to do. Very, very tough time of human life. When you failed, there was no indication, no hope, and no lights, no test singer, not an radiant light for your life. But suddenly, he heard the hammering sound. He heard the hammering sound from the iron. And he understood that there must be some colonies nearby. So he was chasing behind the sound, on the source of the sound. And he got a radiant light to save his life. Radiant light, little bit hope. Little bit hope to save his life. So he ran towards the sound and came to in front of a big iron mill. Their laborers were working. He was very tired and scared. So he took a shelter just few yards away from the furnace. It was not a safe place, but he slept there. The iron mill was the Ramjo iron mill. Where he was slept, the other employees were working there. Once this iron mill was a big iron mill, but right now the prosperity of the iron mill was not so big because it was also the off-season, Christmas time. So no one scared who was sleeping beside the furnace or not. But the owner of the iron mill suddenly came to know that someone was sleeping beside the furnace and it was high probability to get fire. So he came to request him to move and take a safe place. But he was not listening. At that evening, the daughter of the iron mill, she was also there. She was unmarried. She was a lady. She also came to see the incident. And she predicted that the person who was lying beside the furnace maybe are retired soldiers. Because if you see the world history, 1890 to 1945, the end of Second World War, it is the time of the rapid war across the globe. Rapid war across the globe. First World War, Second World War, first nuclear attack, in between this period. So she thought that the person who was sitting beside, who was just lying, he was laying beside the furnace must be the retired soldiers or the captain of a certain army. She requested him to come to her home and spend a Christmas Eve with them. Rattrap seller was confused. He thought that this must be the second trap. But he could not refuse the request from the lady. It is the first time in his life that certain lady requested him to come and to share the Christmas evening. So therefore, he agreed to come to the house of the Ramjo's iron mills owner. And after reaching there in the evening, he got dressed up and they also offered him the new dress. But when he was coming to the dining place, he was so hungry, Rattrap seller was so hungry that he was eating. He was eating like a beast without any manner. By watching this, the owner of the iron mill realized that this person was not an retired captain. Not a retired captain. This person must be the vagabond. But anyway, that was the night time. So they had given him a special shelter for sleep. And in the morning time, he was not wake up. The lady and his father and her father, the lady and her father, they both went to the church for the prayer. And there they heard that yesterday night there was a Rattrap seller who theft 3 notes from the retired iron mills employed home and ran away. And the owner of the Ramzo's iron mills, he also informed to his daughter that the person who came to their place in last night must be that vagabond. But anyway, when they returned in the afternoon after offering the Christmas prayer, they saw that the vagabond left the house and leaving 3 notes and a Rattrap case and a handwritten script. There he has written, "Life is just like a Rattrap." And he also gave 3 notes to the lady to buy some Christmas gift. That was the end of the story. But there are many things to discuss, many analyzed. The first thing you may tell that, sir, what was the morality of the story? The moral of this story is that the people, they committed many guilties. They committed. But if they got a single chance to rectify their life, they must be given. Here, the Rattrap seller realized his fault and refused 3 notes. And his concept is also very clear that the life is just like a rat trap. Really, life is just like a rat trap. Because we are usually trapped by our guilt. We are usually trapped by our greeds. The rich people trapped by the poor people on the debt. That is called debt trap. The luxury trapped by the youth on the luxurious trap. The addiction trapped the people into the addiction trap. But we have the willpower. We can move out from them. So today this much. Tomorrow we will study one by one line and analyze each and every phrases and clause or the internal meaning of the line. Thank you.